Hey, hey, hey. Today's show has been brought to you by VRG Media. Check out VRG Media. It stands for Virtual Reality Group. They do everything. Um, Virtual Reality 360 videos, drones. It's all cool. Have you seen drone stuff like drone
A little
footage
bit, yeah.
and virtual? Everyone's seen virtual reality now.
Yeah, I feel like it's just the norm now.
It's
So awesome.
You have
though.
to have that.
I need to get a drone.
VRG Media. We're joined right now with Pauline Macias.
Yeah. Hi.
Right?
How's it going? How you doing?
Good, good. So tell us about your nickname, Pita. Is it from Hunger Games?
No. It's actually spelled Pita. There's actually a really funny story. I've had that nickname since I was in utero, actually.
Really?
Yeah. Okay. It stands Pita. It stands for pain in the ass.
Okay, so
I went to like Catholic high school, so in high school I said, "Oh, it's like, oh yeah, it stands for Pauline is the athlete," but no, it definitely stands for a pain in the ass.
Who came up with that name for you?
My dad. So when I guess when my mom got pregnant with me, there were like some complications, and the doctors actually told my parents that I was not forming correctly, and like that I wouldn't live a fulfilled life and blah blah blah, and like the doctor actually suggested that they abort me.
Wow.
Yeah, I was like, man, that doctor, I like my life. No, but anyway, he suggested abortion, and thank goodness my uncle, who's also my godfather, he's a doctor, and he was just like, no, it's too early in the pregnancy, like, and so of course, and I'm the oldest, so I was my parents' firstborn, so even though my mom's a nurse, my dad's a firefighter, like, still, it doesn't matter when it's your own kid, it's
Right.
gets a little scary, but they went on with the pregnancy, but like complications here and there, and like my dad was like, oh, she's a pain in the ass, and she's not even born yet, like she's a pain in the ass, and like she's like, oh, she's a Pita, and then yeah, that just stuck.
So you're the original Pita. Then.
I'm the original Pita.
It's
exactly,
not the Hunger. Who's Pita from Hunger Games? Is it the little girl or is it?
I don't know.
Or is it a boy?
I honestly have no idea.
I don't even know.
I'm pretty sure it's a girl, but
I watched the first one.
I think it's spelled Peta too.
Like,
I think
like the PETA, like the pets.
Yeah, I think that's how it's spelled. Like
against,
I don't know, something against something good for animals.
So let's talk about first of all, for those people that don't know who you are, Pauline Macias. Well, let's go into your long resume and make it brief.
Long resume briefly.
Let's talk about. I mean, you were supposed to be training for the Olympics, right? Isn't that
yeah.
Like I talked to you a few months ago, but even last year, that was what you were gonna kind of aiming to go for.
Yeah, actually, when I met you, I was still training for. I was still a judo. So okay, so my background is in judo. I did judo for almost 20 years. I spent 8 years at the Olympic Training Center in Colorado Springs, and yeah, of course, the Olympics was always my goal. I traveled the world. I was on the national team, juniors and seniors. Been traveling. I started traveling the world when before I was even a teenager. So, yeah, that was my main sport. Like judo was my love, and of course I was also a gymnast and a cheerleader, and I did every other sport too. But gymnastics, judo, and cheerleading were my main sports. But judo, of course, actually that was like the biggest decision I had in my life was graduating high school, was whether I was going to cheer in college or whether I was going to go to the Olympic, or go to the Olympic Training Center to do judo.
So are you're the cheerleader that could have beat up the football players? You could throw them around.
Oh, I did actually, not intentionally. Not like I didn't like really get in a fight with the football player, but like the quarterback of my high school, I remember everybody finally were like, "No, you guys have to wrestle. You have to wrestle." We were at track practice, and of course I did track too. And this guy actually, he came after me. We were wrestling or whatever, and joking around. I threw him like a hip throw. It's called ogosh in judo, and I threw him right over my back, like whack. And yeah, that was it. That was the end of it. Nobody ever questioned my abilities.
How big was he?
Probably like he was over 6 feet. He's a quarterback in football, high school. We had a pretty good high school team, like multiple times CIF championships.
What high school did you go to?
Paraclete High School in Lancaster, California.
We can find out who this guy is.
Oh yeah, you can. I won't give up his name that easily, but.
Can you throw our chief content producer? He's like 190 to 200 pounds. Can you throw him?
Of course I could. Yeah, I could throw you, man. Like,
that's not gonna happen. But I'll run. But you might catch me. Well,
ask Nate about takedowns. I took Nate down when we were training together. I can joke around with Nate because he's a sweetheart. I love Nate.
Yeah. So, but like I know I asked you this before. What weight is too much? And you said even if someone's 300 pounds, you'll be able to take them down some way somehow.
Yeah, I mean, it's judo's not. I mean, it's not. That's why it's so hard to learn judo. I mean, it's so technical. It's not like it's not something you can do when you're just. It's not. I mean, of course, there's always strength involved and whatnot, but I mean, it's very much a technical sport. It's judo is created for a smaller person to be able to beat a bigger person. So it's about leverage, and what we call in judo is kazushi, and that's the Japanese term for I don't know, but it basically means getting the person like off balanced, and then using essentially their momentum and weight to throw them or takedown. I know everybody knows it as a takedown, but it is a judo throw, not a takedown.
Let me ask you this: how quickly, like, after the show, we'll shoot it? Could you throw Ray Roman on this, like, 5 seconds, 3 seconds? He's like, putting his hands up, like, no, stop, no.
I mean, a judo throw takes, a millisecond. I mean, throws are. I mean, a high level judo player can throw very quickly. I mean, it's. I mean, I don't know. I'm not. I don't really want to throw him. He's a sweetheart.
No, but no, he said it. He's like, I think I could defend it.
No, he didn't. I know he didn't say that. He's too sweet.
Well, so
I like you, man.
So through judo, you've been able to meet like Marina Shafir, Ronda Rousey, like, and you're one of her training partners, right? Is that correct?
I was, yeah.
So how long have you known the whole gang for and Ronda?
Actually, I mean, I met Marina and I met Shayna and Jessman only like I think when I met you. Just briefly. I didn't know them very long. I mean, because I know they kind of came into the picture years and years later after Ronda was already in the UFC. But, Marina, Ronda, and I were actually on, like, a junior Pan Am team together. And, like, so we were on the national team together at one point. But Ronda, I mean, I've actually known Ronda the longest. I mean, Ronda used to come stay at my house all the time. And, we were really close when we were younger, and of course now. But I think I actually met Ronda when I was maybe around 10 years old or so. We became really close, like maybe around 12. When I was around 12 or 13, so she was probably around 14 or so. And yeah, we've been friends ever since. She's the one that really kind of convinced me to do MMA. Actually, when they introduced the 115-pound division to the UFC, it was kind of like, oh wow, like here I can use my judo. And possibly get, make a living off of it and whatnot. And judo.
But who won those head-to-head battles when you guys were 12 and 13?
No, well, Ronda and I were always in different weight divisions.
Oh, it's different.
Yeah, we're a different weight division. We all are. That's why we were all on the team together. So
do you guys ever cross train, or do you just stay with people that are around your same weight?
In training, you train with anybody, But I mean, as far as fighting, like in tournaments, no, I mean, we'll never fight each other. We're totally different weights. So
right, I didn't know if in training, does everyone cross train?
Yeah, you can.
Because I heard in judo competitions sometimes men and women or boys and girls that go against each other.
Well, those are like local competitions, like if there aren't enough people or something. But I mean, no. I mean, at the elite level, it's definitely like the women's weight division, and you have to be in the specific weight division, and it's very competitive. I mean, judo. There's never a shortage of judo players. I mean, it's the second most played sport in the world to soccer.
Right.
So it's
and you were torn between, I know when we talked about the Olympics and really going to Rio or getting into MMA. I mean, I think you were still training. That was your goal. And then it just, like a snap, you're like, okay, I'm going to do MMA. What triggered that?
I actually, I did a lot. I had multiple surgeries on my arm, elbow all the way up, and so I got better, and I actually went down a weight division. I fought 57 kilos, which is 125 for judo, like most of my life, and then I went down to 52 kilos, which is 114 pounds, and I did that, and all with the mindset of, I'm gonna give it all. This is probably the last Olympics I'm ever gonna have a chance to aim towards, and I literally was trying to do everything I possibly could, and judo changed their rules immensely. I don't know unless you really know the sport. Judo, as far as double legs, single legs, firemen's, stuff like that, that was all legal in judo. As of which will be for this Olympics, they actually changed the rules where you can't grab the legs at all. And for me, that was my stuff. My best throw, it's called teguruma. And basically what it is, it's either over the top around the neck or around the arm or anything, and then one leg, and then you basically pick them up in there and turn and then put them on their back. And that became illegal. And that was, I mean, a lot of stuff, like the way I grew up doing judo for, so many years, just completely changed. And, when you're doing it that long, I don't know if maybe it was, I don't really know what it was, but I found I had completely fallen out of love with it. And when you have to travel that much, I mean, you travel the world so often, and you have to go to all these countries, and you're constantly cutting weight. There's no season. Like, you don't get a couple months in between fights. I mean, sometimes you're back to back to back weekends and having to make weight back to back to back weekends. That's exhausting, and it kills your body. And I was just to the point, you have to really have a love and a fire for it. And I felt like I had lost that. I really had. And I feel like in a way I was searching for something, and I really missed home. I missed my family, and they're all in Southern California. And I had been in Colorado for 8 years. And I think it just had gotten to the point, and then Ronda, like, really, I don't remember how, like, we started talking about it. I think I was going to be home, and I texted her, and she's like, oh, come visit. And I was like, all right, and we talked, and I was like, you know what, this is something new. It's taking a big, big, big risk and taking a chance. And I don't know, I think it was just my gut that told me, I think this is what you should do. And I went for it, and I'm not going to lie, I never knew I could love anything more than judo. And I am absolutely in love with MMA. Like, I am, like, oh, I'm so passionate about it. It's crazy. I like, get so excited. Every morning I get to wake up. Like, I get up in the morning, I'm like, yeah, it's sparring day. And I'm like, all right. And even though I drive really far, I live in Lancaster, but I drive, to North Hollywood. I used to drive to Glendale, and, like, it's not close at all.
Where were you training at North Hollywood?
Highest That's where, like,
Go-Kart.
Go-Kart, yeah.
Jean LaBelle.
Yeah.
Was Jean from out of there? Or
Jean LaBelle, Go-Kart Chavician, and my head coach is Sako Chavician. Ronda came out of there. Actually, the person who really told me to go there was Ronda's mom, Anne Maria Rousey.
First you were with Glendale.
Yeah, I was at Glendale.
With Edmund.
Mm-hmm. And so, like, now if Ronda needs help, of course I'll go over there and help her and whatnot. But
what made you leave to go to North Hollywood?
It wasn't necessarily like a leaving thing. I just really, Glendale's awesome. It's definitely a striking place, and I really needed to work on grappling. I mean, I think sometimes people forget that judo, like, the grappling for MMA is not the same as judo. It's not. At the end of the day, it's not. And yeah.
What's more conducive for a street fight, like MMA grappling or judo grappling?
I mean, it depends on what you're talking about. I mean, as far as takedowns and I feel like it's all if you like judo, wrestling, jiu-jitsu, I just consider it all grappling. Okay, but I would say, maybe MMA, because it's more realistic. You don't have the judo gi on. I don't know. At the end of the day, if you're a grappler, you know how to grapple, you'll be fine whether you have a gi on or not. I feel like judo is extremely useful because, like, in judo you learn not just, you could teach anybody in the world, you could teach them to grab them and throw them,
Right.
That's the easy part. Anybody can learn how to throw, and that's why I think a lot of people, even though they're trying to learn judo now at an older age, that's not something you learn at an older age. I mean, you could, but that feeling, I did judo for almost 20 years, and I feel like I still have so much to learn. I feel like, even though I was at, like, the elite level and whatnot, but, like, it's a feeling. It's a feeling you get. That's why judo has a Paralympic team. They have blind people, or people who are blind, that actually compete in judo, because it's a feeling. You grab them and you move them, and you if you pull them here, they're gonna do this, and you're doing this, and it's a feeling. And to get that feeling takes, it could take decades. It's not something you can learn in a few,
right,
even 5 years.
What do you think? Maybe you not going to the Olympics is a blessing in a way because of the Zika thing that's going on down there, or does that not really scare you at all?
No, I don't really think about that.
Because a lot of NBA players pulled out of the Olympics because they were worried about that. Even I think I don't know if it's Dirk Nowitzki. There's one of these NBA guys who's going to have his stuff frozen just in case, he gets hit with the Zika.
Oh, wow.
Because if, say, you got Zika, then you can, I think the kids come out, like, with a small head syndrome.
Like some kind of deformity. I'm not an expert on it by any means, but at the end of the day, And I mean, they're NBA. They're already making money. They don't have to worry about that, you know. I mean, but like for
Well, if
me,
if they got bitten by a
no, I
mosquito.
mean to pull out of the Olympics. Like for them, it's not as.
Yeah.
I feel like it wouldn't be as big of a deal. I mean, who knows? I don't know. I'm
but
not.
you
an
weren't
NBA
scared
player.
about it. You were like
no, that's not something I would have thought
say
about.
that would have been
No, that would have not. No. In judo, I mean, to make an Olympic team is so prestigious. I mean, it's extremely hard to make the Olympics in judo, and no, hands down, if I would have made the team, yes, I would have.
Drinking the Brazilian water.
You know what? If that's what it meant to that, I was. You know, yeah. At the end of the day, I mean, you work for something your entire life. I mean, I started judo when I was 7 years old.
Right.
One of my friends who's actually going to the Olympics in my weight division, 52 kilos, Angelica Delgado. I mean, I know she worked her butt off to get where she's at and to make the Olympic team. So I promise you, it doesn't matter what it is, she will be there. You know,
she's on the team right now.
Yeah, she just made it. They just announced the team a couple weeks ago. So,
is it when they announced it? Is it a little bit of bittersweet where you're doing something you're passionate about now, MMA, but at the same time, do you think like that could have been me?
I mean, yeah, I think anybody that dedicated their life to a sport would always think that. I think the only thing it did for me was push me harder. I think, you know, I had always stepped on the mat with the intentions of making an Olympic team, yeah. But
so when it was announced, was it? But the feeling you got, was it like, was there a hesitation in your mind, like, did I do the right thing? Maybe.
I mean, I'm not gonna say yeah, I mean, there was a little bit of. I don't want to say like I was like bitter about it or anything. No, I was
like bittersweet,
happy.
where it's not good and it's not bad. It's like,
I know what you're saying. Yeah, a little bit.
I'm asking you the tough questions.
I know.
Pauline.
I'm like, how do I word this without sounding horrible? No, I'm kidding.
We want the truth here.
I know. It was
with
tough.
a little bit of theatrics.
It was tough. I'm not gonna lie. A little bit of with the Olympic commercials coming out and everything. Definitely there was a little bit of bittersweet and knowing that will never be me. Definitely, but I think I was able to really turn around in a positive for me. And I mean, I've never worked harder in my life. I don't think I've ever wanted anything more in my life now than to, you know, I mean, my goal, I mean, yeah, it may sound crazy because I've only been doing MMA for such a short amount of time, but I want to be the UFC title holder. You know, I'm not doing this just to possibly get into the UFC. Like, no, there's no way. I didn't give up, you know, a lifetime career to go do MMA, you know, just to, I'm going to be in the UFC. No, I want to be in there. I want to be a contender. I want to have a belt. Like, I really do believe with the Olympics. I think it was hard, but
but it's like weird because you were right there where now you're starting from completely scratch. Like you were on the cusp of reaching the highest elite level at something which most people can't say that about, you know, 99% of the population can't say that. And then you're like, well, I'm going to go ahead and start crawling again as something totally different.
Oh, I'm not going to say it was an easy.
I'm not trying
definitely not an easy decision.
Well, let me take you away from that and just say, how do you think my team, the United States, my country, which I obviously root for, how will we do in judo this year in Rio?
We're coming back with I mean, we're coming. I have to go check exactly who made the team again. But I know we're coming back with a few Olympians. A few Olympians are returning.
Medalists?
Yeah, Kayla Harrison took a gold. She's returning. Marty Malloy took a bronze. She's returning. Travis Stevens is on his like third Olympics or something like that. He hasn't medaled yet, but.
Is there a country in judo which is like Russia where they really another country that stands out in the judo category?
Well, Japan, of course.
Judo,
I mean, Japan,
so Japan.
Yeah, well, it's from Japan, and
so they usually are the gold. That's the people that.
Yeah, the Japanese are always great. The Cuban women are outstanding. I mean, every country has their superstars. America usually, now is like building up on the totem pole, but. I mean, it changes all the time. I mean, judo is such a competitive sport, such a difficult sport.
So we have a good chance of getting
some
some gold.
I definitely think we're gonna. Definitely. I hope we come back.
How
with
many
some
weight
golds.
divisions are there, and then how many people, like men and women? Is there 10 gold medals?
There's 7 women's weight division, 7 men's division.
So 14 medals. There's 14 medals.
Yeah, but you have to qualify yourself. Like you don't just qualify your weight division anymore, and then you have an Olympic trials, and then whoever wins the Olympic trials goes to the Olympics. It doesn't work that way. Now it's only for women, it's only the top 14 in the world go to the Olympics, and then the top 22, I believe, in men go to the Olympics. So if America only has, I think we have 3 men and 3 women going, and I think that's it. So
That's,
6
so
out
oh,
of the
so
14.
we can't send 14 people.
No, you have to actually qualify like yourself to the Olympics.
Wow.
So, yeah, it's extremely difficult, and you get that it's a point system. So you go to World Cups and Super A tournaments and whatnot, or Grand Prix, and you basically get points for winning, and then it's basically a world ranking system.
So you're like that's like 99.99999% of everyone in the world that can actually go represent a country. I mean, 3 and 3. That to me that doesn't seem fair, because what if like someone that didn't qualify for themselves individually but made the American team goes out there and has a Notre Dame moment where they overcome all odds and win the gold? That can't happen.
What do you mean, like?
Well, because since we're sending 3 and 3, like say someone rose out of nowhere and made the Olympic team, the United States team, and they went on to win gold at Rio, but that can't happen because they didn't qualify themselves through all these other tournaments.
So it's a 2-year process too. So the actual run for the Olympics started in 2014. So then you basically spend 2 years of traveling and gaining points, and then sometimes, I mean, with a few people it came down to the wire. So it's not like you'll have one person randomly make it and then randomly win it. It's a 2-year process.
That sucks.
Yeah, it's tough. That's what I'm saying.
It's not like the track team where we're sending our whole track team, our 400, the 100, the relays.
Yeah, I know. I wish it's tough. That's the thing. That's why I think. And I was really tired. I was done with traveling. I was done with a lot of when you fall out of love with something, I think it was pretty easy for me, I would say, overall, to make my decision. I mean, I was heartbroken to quit something I've done since I was 7 years old. But, I mean, there's a lot that goes into it that people don't know about, and it's exhausting.
Right. So 6 out of the 14 medals, how many golds do we bring in? How many silvers? How many bronze?
I mean, I hope everybody gets a gold.
We're making Olympic judo predictions right now.
I mean, I hope everybody gets a gold.
I mean, the
yeah. I'm really. I mean, I'll just speak for the people like I know of that I can think of right now. Hands down, Marty Malloy took a bronze last time. I'm rooting for her to get a gold this time, and Kayla Harrison got a gold, so definitely, like, I want her to return and get another gold. I mean, that'd be incredible for someone to take 2 golds at the Olympics in judo. Is that's really hard. So
because Ronda was even bronze, she didn't even get a gold.
Yeah, but a bronze at the Olympics is still in judo is still incredible. Like, it is very hard to even make an Olympic team and medal. I mean, hands down, if you ask me. I mean, I think you guys saw the difference when Ronda fought the silver medalist of a wrestler, Sarah McMahon. I mean, everybody was like, oh,
I actually thought McMahon would give her more of a fight.
No,
because of I'm like, silver medalist and bronze is like.
See, that's and that would be what the typical public would think, right? But it's funny because like everybody was like, oh, she took a silver in wrestling, and I was like, are you kidding? This would be a cakewalk for Ronda. I called it hands down when I saw who she was going to fight. I was like, this will be a cakewalk for Ronda. Because I know Ronda.
I don't think McMahon hasn't been the same since that fight either. It's like kind of weird. She was on this trajectory up, and now. Well. So judo. So you're saying 2 out of our 6 have a really good chance of medaling.
Yeah, those are the 2 I'm going to definitely list that I'm really rooting to get a gold. I mean, because of their performance at the last Olympics. Everybody else. I mean, I know that everybody else. I mean, I think on that day it just depends. I mean, judo is one of those sports that anything can happen. Anything can happen, and we never know. I mean, I'm rooting for everybody to get a gold. I'm rooting for everybody to get a medal, period. I mean, but we'll see. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'll definitely be watching. I'll be cheering my old teammates on, and I'm really happy for them. So.
Well, enough about the Olympics.
Yeah, let's move on, please.
That's coming up. You had your first fight.
I did, yeah.
This year. You made your debut, and you took the fight on 3 days' notice. I
did, yeah.
I kind of heard, was listening to your opponent who thought she won the fight and was talking about mouthpiece coming out. There's no footage of the fight up. What went into your head in your first fight, and how did it go?
Well, actually, the footage will be up. It'll be on MAV TV, and it'll also be on UFC Fight Pass, I believe, in a few weeks. So it just wasn't live, but it will be on both of those.
So then we can make our own assumption.
Yeah, you could definitely make your own assumption.
Do you think you won the fight? I mean,
Honestly, I don't actually
Was it
know
a
the
pro or
score.
Emmy?
It was amateur. Yeah,
Oh,
it was,
'cause
and
this
I
was not
also
a pro
fought
fight.
125 because 3 days notice. There's no way I was gonna make 115. There's no way.
What do you walk around at?
Pretty heavy. Probably like I walk around 20 pounds over 115, but I was pretty heavy. Oh, because what happened was I was going to try to fight May 7th for Invicta, and there were just like just some communication issues. I don't really know what happened. The opponent we picked like got injured a week and a half before and pulled out, so it was just things weren't working. And
So why'd you take an amateur fight? That was like.
well, because I'm supposed to fight July 29th for Invicta. And so I was like, well, I wanted to fight. I personally wanted at least an amateur fight before as like a warm up. Get to know it's not judo. I was having some problems getting opponents for a while, so that's really why I took this fight on 3-day notice. I mean, I actually was letting some like bumps and bruises kind of heal a little bit, and I was like, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I was like enjoying myself because never did I think I was gonna have a fight at that time, which is probably not the smartest idea, but. I learned.
You learned from the fight. It was a good experience for you.
Yeah, I mean, of course, I was like upset at myself because I'm pretty critical of myself. So to let it go 3 rounds was kind of upsetting for me. However, I mean, So first off, the fight was in Idaho. Let's just start there. The fight was in Idaho, and it was 3-day notice, and I took it because it was a guaranteed fight. There was no way she was gonna pull out. And she needed an opponent, and I was like, you know what? It's 120. I can make 125. In 3 days, I can do that. And
but they don't for amateur. They don't pay for your travel.
They did.
Right?
Yeah, they did. No, they did. They paid for my travel and for one corner. And that's another thing. My coach couldn't even go because it was just such a short notice. So I had a teammate go with me, and then my dad cornered me too. So I had a teammate and my dad cornered me.
Is your dad a black belt as well in judo?
No, he's a firefighter. He has done judo. I mean, he was like a white belt, but I mean, he has done it. But
is that? I mean, it's weird. Like your dad's cornering you. Like, what do you do? The fireman crawl.
You know what? More than anything, I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, what was I gonna get? I mean, that's for me. I know my dad knows how to get into my head mentally, and I was gonna do what I was gonna do. I knew what I knew, and I had to just kind of go for it. But my dad knows. I mean, he knows what to tell me. He knows what to say. He knows how to calm me down. So
that. Like her dad, like what? Because what if something happens and you lose and he jumps in the cage? Because that's my daughter. Or
no, he would. I don't think he would. He's a pretty calm guy. I mean, for the most part, he can. But like my dad has coached me in like multiple sports. Like it's funny, and that's why I knew my dad being in my corner would be a great idea for me. Because I mean, sorry, Dad, but he even coached me in cheerleading when I was a kid. My mom was my cheer coach, and I like couldn't understand why my dad was coaching football when my brother wasn't even old enough to play football, even though my dad was a big football guy. And so I asked him to coach me in cheerleading, and he did. My dad used to be a DJ, and so he even like mixed our cheer music and like helped make a routine with my mom. And my dad coached me in cheerleading, and then he also was my coach in basketball in junior high. Led us to 2 or 3 championships, and
Wow.
And then my dad also was my softball coach before. So that's what I mean. I knew that like my dad being in my corner would be good for me, whether it's the sport that he knows the best or not. I mean, he knows judo. He's been around it, forever. And but at the end of the day, I needed somebody who would just get in here, and can get me to get my heart like.
Will he corner you in your next fight?
Yeah, absolutely. I love having him there, so he will definitely be there. Yeah.
So it's not official yet, but you're looking to make your pro debut now in Invicta. When is that supposed
hopefully
to be?
July 29th. So.
And is that in? They usually.
I think we're still waiting for location and whatnot. Yeah, I think things are still in the works, so I don't really want to. I don't know yet, so I don't want to say anything until we know. So nothing's definite. So.
And I just want to circle back real quick to the Olympic thing, because it came out that Russia's whole track and field team can't compete because they got busted for steroids.
Wow.
Do you feel is that something that's prevalent in from your experience for the athletes that you were around, steroids?
I mean, no. So I was at the Olympic Training Center for 8 years. There are multiple sports there. I mean, of course, I think if anybody's been popped, it's been public, and they make it public. If you get popped with something, they make it public.
Is that something that you've seen when you're around the other Olympic athletes?
No, I mean, I wouldn't say I've personally seen it. We get drunk.
Does it here? But is there like locker room talk or Olympic room talk was like, hey, if you need a bump.
People always, people always have something to say. People always spread rumors, whether things were true or not. I'm not one to really like get too involved in that. I don't really care, to be honest. If they want to do something that's on their own, it's none of my business. I don't condone it or anything, but like, for me, here's the thing about like being at the Olympic Training Center. I mean, I swear I was drug tested so often. I don't know why, but I was drug tested all the time. It's supposed to be random, but the U.S. Anti-Doping Agency actually, like, they do random drug tests. So, online you have to fill out this calendar. It's every 3 months you have to fill out where you will be, like your practice schedule, whether you're traveling, you have to put that in. So for 3 months, like, you have to basically fill in your life, and they can show up at any time. And for some reason, you say you're not there where they show up, and you said you're going to be there on the calendar. They call you. You have an hour to show up and do that drug test. Yeah, usually for me, they usually showed up at practice. I think. I
mean, is it like 2 people from USADA? Is it 3? Like. I imagine like the Matrix. They come in their suit and tie and the briefcase, and they're holding
they do have like briefcase.
See,
big old carrying
the
cases.
Gloves on the hand. Like, give us a sample. I mean,
it's not that dramatic, but they.
Is there how many people like?
Well, for women, for me at least, there were always 2, because there was like I'm not sure if maybe the guy was like maybe the Colorado Springs rep or something. But the guy was there, and then they have to have a female that actually watches you sit there and go to the bathroom.
A female watches you?
Yeah, like
they go inside the bathroom.
Oh no, they go in the stall with you.
No way.
I swear to you, if you have to get in the shower, they have gotten and they've opened the screen, like stood there like next to you in the shower. You're like, all right, like they are insane. So I mean, I know. They're doing their job.
They go into the same stall as an athlete?
Yeah, so like you'll go into the stall, and then you have to like lift your shirt halfway or whatever, and then you have to pull your pants down like past a certain like length or whatever, and then they make sure they like observe and then they make sure that like you don't have anything there, and then they watch you go to the bathroom, and you have to sit there and just like, hey, like they watch you go to the bathroom.
So if you're sitting down, are they like staring at you?
They are staring at you like hands down, like.
Is it like an eye to eye thing? I mean,
usually I would just like joke around with the lady. I'd be like, hey, yeah. I mean, what else are you gonna do? You have to sit there and watch somebody like urinate. Like, what are you gonna do?
Hey, how's the weather today?
I know, right? How about them
sunny.
Dodgers? Like, what are you gonna say? I mean, what are you gonna do? I mean, you just
that is I've never known that. I just imagine that they'll wait like maybe outside the bathroom or inside the bathroom, outside the stall, but no.
No. They are in the stall with you. They watch. I mean, and they follow you everywhere. I mean, you go. So say if you can't go to the bathroom, they will stay with you for hours until you go to the bathroom. So like, get in the shower, you go to work, you go wherever you're at. They just follow you.
So if you can't go, then you're like
you get followed for a long time.
Has that ever happened for you? We're like, I can't. Tinkle. Did it tinkle?
No, they pretty much like always stayed around me. I mean, of course, I mean, they pretty much. I mean, I would pretty much get it over with. I mean, sometimes I'd be like, really, I just went to the bathroom. Like, I'd show up to practice and be like, really, you couldn't have told me this 5 minutes earlier, like, or something.
Are the people older, younger?
It varies. I mean, they're usually older than me, I guess. I don't know, but it's funny. One of my old roommates, he actually I remember him like. He like texted me. He's like, "Oh, USADA's coming." I was like, "Well, guess he couldn't go to the bathroom this morning." He like shows up into the house. USADA's following him. So I was like, make sure I had clothes on because I'm probably walking around like half naked or something. I was like, "Oh my gosh, people are coming!" All right, so trying to like make the house look decent or something. No, but and they followed him. He went to the shower. They're there. He went to work. They were there. Weird. I mean, they followed him everywhere. I mean, that's
like you're in the stall. Like, hey, you want some tea or
I don't know. Who knows what I said?
Do you remember any conversations? I mean, or is it quiet?
I don't remember.
Is it
no,
quiet?
I definitely would talk to them because it was like, what else are you gonna do? I don't want might as well just have a conversation. I don't know. Like, what are you gonna do?
Do you remember a conversation that you had?
I don't. I wish I did. I'm sure they were probably random, like awkward conversations.
I guess it'd be weird if you're like looking at someone and I mean,
what do you just stare at them and be like,
hey, you got nice eyes, like mine are brown, you got blue eyes, that's kind of cool. It's like
I'm peeing right now. Like, what do you like? I don't know. Like, it's I don't know. It's very awkward.
Well, Brock Lesnar. He's coming back. Obviously, UFC 200.
I heard about that. Yeah.
They're giving him USADA's giving him an exemption. So a lot of people are saying this is not fair because he's supposed to be getting tested 4 months out, and now he's only being tested within a month time, which
Oh, that's interesting. I
right
didn't know
for
about that.
yeah, from your standpoint, I mean, I know as well. People can cycle that out with 2 months out of a fight. Is that
I mean, of course, it depends on what
what you're
you were
taking?
on and what. I mean, I've personally never taken steroids, so I really have no idea.
But do you think that that's a little fishy about the
That's
you saw that
interesting.
exemption?
I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about that. I didn't know about that.
Right, because technically they couldn't test him until he signed the contract. But if, like, say a UFC fighter, another fighter, or any fighter retired, and or they're saying, hey, we're coming back, they have to give either 3 or 4 months heads up, like, so they can start getting tested again. But there was an exemption in Brock's
For
case.
Brock's case.
Obviously, money plays a huge factor, but it's kind of weird. Mark Hunt thinks he said he used a quote. I think he's juiced to the gills. That's what Mark Hunt was saying.
I don't know much about Brock Lesnar. I know I've seen him on WWE. I don't know. I really don't. I don't have much knowledge about him.
As a pro athlete, I mean, do you think that's fair?
I mean, if the rules state that they start testing when you sign the contract, and if he signed the contract a month out, I mean, they can only test him from the time that he signed the contract. I mean, those are the rules. I mean, do I think that it would be, I mean, more fair to test 3 months out? Yes, of course. I mean, but I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, he signed the contract. From the day he signed the contract, if they started drug testing from that day, I mean, those are the rules. He followed them. I mean, we're lucky they even have drug testing now. At least, I know it was really fishy and back in the day, and from what I hear, I don't know. I've always been part of USADA and WADA, so WADA's the World Anti-Doping Agency. So I think that I think it's awesome that the UFC is going that route. So, I mean, the day he signed, they started drug testing. I mean, they had to do what they had to do. I mean, I don't know.
Right.
There's nothing else you can really do about it,
Well,
so I don't know.
Just to end the USADA is, I think next time you get tested, you should come up with like a knock knock joke, like
I will.
knock knock, who's there? That's all I have right now, but that would be kind of cool where you come up with a knock knock joke every time. Knock knock, who's there? USADA who? You saw who?
Or something like that. Yeah, like, I don't know. I'd have to think about it.
The day before UFC 200, there's going to be your division, the strawweight division, title match. Joanna Jędrzejczyk versus Claudia Gadelis. It's a tough finale. So this is the division. You said you want to be champ. These girls, I mean, they're freaking mean and tough like no one else. What is your plan? Is it a 3-year plan, a 5-year plan, like to get a title shot or to go from Invicta to UFC? Do you actually have a plan laid out?
I mean, of course, right now I'm still learning the sport. I'm still getting experience and whatnot. However, I'm not going to say too much, but I do feel that at the end of the day, I think that not just, of course, there's like my judo abilities and whatnot, my athletic ability, but like also like, my head, like I feel like I'm smart enough and I really understand fighting and feeling, and I've watched Joanna, and I've seen multiple, like I saw Jessica Penne like close the distance with her multiple times, but she couldn't do a lot with it, which was really surprising for me because I know she was working on some judo, but like I said, judo's really tough to learn later on in life. It's not something, if I even
you train with Penne? Have you trained with
No,
Penne?
I've never trained with her. Of course, I know Justin Flores coached her, but I mean, of course, I've worked with Justin. I've known him forever, but
does she strike like you're just getting started? It's kind of, I would compare it to a high school player playing, Michael Jordan in a game of one-on-one in his prime. Does that thought of like, wow, what if that's my goal one day to fight her? I wouldn't want to be touched.
I would love to fight her. I've met her multiple times. I would love to fight her. I wouldn't.
Her elbows and strikes. I mean, her Muay Thai is, she trained at a Holland with all the Dutch. I've never seen a woman with that type of Muay Thai before.
Have you ever seen a woman with that kind of judo against her either?
I have not. Because Claudia's a black belt in jiu-jitsu, I think. So it's kind of like
not judo though.
Right, no. I'm just saying. But as you starting out, like.
No, yeah, of course.
Is there?
I agree with you.
Am I I think fighters have to be a little bit loony to know, like, I'm gonna get in there, and it's like the whole, I'm either gonna win or lose, but someone might get hurt, or we both might get hurt.
I mean, yeah, I've been getting hurt my whole life. I'm not scared of getting hurt. I
But
mean,
is
like,
it a different, like, getting hit in the face compared to getting thrown?
no. I've landed on I've been like thrown on my head by guys, like big guys, tossed on my head so hard, way harder than I've been hit so far. I mean, of course, obviously, like I don't have like a ton of experience in the actual cage competing, but I mean, I practice one. I mean, it's different. I know it's different. Everybody always says
because
it's
some
different.
ground players don't like to get hit in the face.
It hasn't seemed to bother me yet. I mean, I don't know. I know I think the only time I really felt one in the last fight, one punch the third round, she caught me in the chin, but I mean, I walked right through it. I mean, I know it was there, but I think I don't know. It hasn't seemed to bother me, so I don't know. But at the end of the day, I mean, this is what I'm doing. I'm doing this for a reason. You know what I mean? I'm doing this because this is what I want to do. I love it, and I'm not. Why would I do it just to like be average, or something like?
Right.
Why give up something? I've been training my entire life for to go to a new sport. You know what I mean? And that's what I'm saying. And yeah, I know a lot of people compare like some of the high level strikers. I'm like, well, what about the high level grapplers? You know what I mean?
Well, I think Damian Maia kind of demonstrated that versus Matt Brown, which I predicted Matt Brown to win that fight. But Damian Maia's world class, jiu-jitsu was just. I thought it was going to be a decision, and I think he caught him in the last 30 seconds or 20 seconds
I didn't
left.
See that fight, so I don't know.
Yeah, but it just like it shows you that someone at that highest level of their technique was able to beat someone that's well-rounded and a contender in a division. So
yeah, and I think that's what that's just it. At the end of the day, I think I've heard Dana say it, and I've heard a lot of people say, it's I think they say it's a fight of styles, and whatnot. But if you look at I mean, for example, I hate bringing this up because obviously Holly beat Ronda, but I mean, look at Miesha Tate beating Holly Holm. I mean, that's a high level striker. I mean, going against a grappler, like I wouldn't necessarily say she's the highest level grappler I've ever seen,
Right.
But it just goes to show. I think at the end of the day, if you train correctly, if you have the right mindset, you use what you were created, or not what you created, but you use what you have. I mean, I'd be insane to think I'm going to go out there and think I'm going to be the greatest boxer that ever lived or the greatest, Muay Thai fighter that ever lived. When I did judo for 20 years, why would I not use my judo? Why would I not figure out a way, around the striking or whatever? Maybe my striking will get great. I don't know, and then use what I have that I don't even have to think about. And that's something I noticed in my fight is the easiest part for me was the judo. I mean, my throws were so big, so high in the air, and sometimes I didn't even have a clinch yet. Like I was doing the throws on entering and catching her midair basically and pulling her down because my hips are just so powerful and my throws and that was so second nature. I didn't even think about them. So I'm going to use my judo. I'm going to do whatever I have to do to be able to use my judo, throw them extremely hard because I know a lot of those strikers have never been thrown by a real judo player. Of course, I'm not talking about Ronda's division because Ronda clearly has, done what she's done. But, I mean, there is no judo player in the 115 division, so not a high-level one at least. And to be able to get thrown like that, I think is the same way. I think strikers feel the same way about getting thrown that hard. At like you would say how you were saying how a lot of grapplers don't like getting hit in the face. You know what I mean?
Right.
I think it's the same thing at the end of the day. I mean, it's just who has the better game plan, who has the bigger heart, who's smarter. There's so many things that go into it. But
well, talk about you brought up Ronda and Holly Holm. Why would she not be able to use her? I mean, there was a lot of factors obviously that went into that fight, but from a straight fighting standpoint, when Ronda tried to take her down, she got reversed. Was that because of?
Yeah, I mean, Ronda was. I mean, I don't know. That wasn't Ronda at the end of the day. That wasn't her. I've known her my entire life almost, and that wasn't her. I mean, I don't know. Maybe she got hit before that and it hurt her a little or something. I don't know. I probably don't want to comment too much on that. That's one of my best friends, but
yeah, that's what I've said because there was a lot of things behind the scenes which a lot of people don't know about that went on. But from a standpoint, and what's weird to me is, I mean, she said that she wasn't going to just come after Holly. She was going to take her time, and that was kind of like opposite the game plan. And I think obviously I felt like that wasn't. I mean, you're gonna have. She got so much criticism afterward.
Yeah,
It was weird
terrible.
how the ship was going this way, and then like everyone turned a student. And I've never seen that for any athlete, that she was kind of scorned. I mean, even by some media members that were writing. A guy from Sports Illustrated wrote this a pretty nasty article, and I came back with a rebuttal article,
Oh, really?
which said, you know, she'll be back and whatnot. And I still get that question all the time. Is she when she? I'm like, she's coming back. She's just doing certain things right now. Like she'll be back. Don't worry about that.
Absolutely. I mean,
But have you? I've never seen that turnaround. It's like a 180.
yeah, it's pretty ridiculous if you ask
Everyone's
me.
on
I
the
mean,
bandwagon, and then they're like, oh, we're jumping ship. Like we can't. No one could
it
stand
almost
it.
shows how shallow people are.
Did you feel that as well?
When it comes to Ronda, I don't really read or watch anything about her. I'd rather not. She's my friend. We still talk about the same stuff we probably talked about in high school. And I don't see that side of Ronda. So much. We're still friends for like the rest of life.
As far as the media, I mean, you're on social media.
Yeah, but when it comes to Ronda, I literally do try to skip stuff over. But I have seen some. Yeah, it says Ronda. I'm like, I just skip it. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's no reason for me to see that. I mean, she's my friend. I know her for her. She's one of the most wonderful people I've ever met in my life. She's one of my oldest friends. So
you missed a good article by me then. That's what you're saying.
Probably. Yeah, I probably didn't read it, but I will read it if you send it to me. How about that?
Actually, her mom, and I wrote it from an objective point of view.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, people don't understand her in person is much different from the entertainer, the fighter. I mean, it's a different mode. I think a lot of fighters are like that too.
Yeah.
You have to put on a certain persona in order to get into that mindset.
Yeah, absolutely.
And what they don't know is behind the scenes, for whatever reason it is, she's a normal person like anyone else.
Yeah, she's an outstanding human being. Like Ronda is wonderful. She's one of the most kind-hearted people I've ever met in my life. Like, she's just a wonderful person. There's nothing else. Don't think I could ever say anything bad about Ronda. I mean, we've been friends since we were kids, and here we are. I'm 27 years old. We're still friends, so clearly there's a reason for that.
You're in some of her commercials. I've seen that.
I'm
not going to say the commercial because I want to be. I need to call the cell phone company and say, hey, we're adding one person to this commercial. And he's just, hey, we're almost the same color.
I was gonna add you to it.
He's my brother.
Just come on right in, join the
commercial. You need one. Like I feel like it's a little bit sexist. I mean,
it's about her life.
5 girls.
5.
Was it 4 girls in that commercial?
Well, I'm in both of them, so I don't. There's one where she's throwing the brown girl in the octagon. That's me. And then there's one same company.
It's the 4 horsewomen, and then you're in there too.
Oh, so yeah. No, one of them isn't in there. It's me. So there's only 4 of us.
Okay.
So it's like it goes Marina. So in order, it goes Ronda, and then me, and then Jessamine Duke, and then Marina Schiffer. So. And
then David Kano needs to be like, hey.
Like, see that guy over there? The brown guy over there?
The brown guy, bronze, whatever it is. No, I've seen those. Those are still airing, I think, now.
Yeah, they're still airing. It's funny. I still get texts or like messages and random like, okay, so I know I'm not going crazy, but I think I just saw you on TV. Yeah, that was me. I'm also in like other commercials too, not just some that play when the UFC is playing. So it's funny when people see me, they're like, "What?
What other commercials have you done?"
Am I allowed to say? I don't know if I'm allowed to. Am I allowed to say the companies on here?
Yeah, I guess. But you've been in a lot. But you doing stunts as well.
Yeah, that's
because I've known you through Pete Antico as well, and Pete is a stunt. He's an actor. He's been for 30 years, and he kind of got you into stunts. Well, he Ronda.
Didn't actually get me into it. I met him through the stunt world.
Okay,
that's the crazy part. I actually got into stunts because of Ronda. She's the one that was like, "You need to be a stunt woman." I'm like, "Okay, all right." Actually, I'm not gonna lie. The first thing I think I said was like, "Oh, like cheer stunts or something like that," and she probably gave me the look like. But no, really, Ronda, she hands down from day one was just like, you need to be a stunt woman. Your gymnastics and cheerleading, all this stuff, all their flips and flops or whatever, tumbling, whatever she says, and she goes, and then you can fight. She goes, you can do stunts.
But do you feel now that Joe Rogan said Ronda had all these commercials and movies thrown at her that she took away from some of her focus on fighting. You're doing kind of the same thing as well. Does that make you hesitate? Like, well, maybe you have to take one, like fighting more seriously and kind of tailor it back on the commercials and stunts?
I don't know. I think that if you don't have something to kind of like take your mind off of just fighting, I think you can. I don't know. I think you need to have a balance in life. And when we were doing judo, we were never allowed to just do judo. I mean, you couldn't. You had to make a living. It's not like judo pays you. So it's not like USA Judo gives you money monthly or anything, or like pays for your living or pays for your child. You know, you have to do all that on your own. So, I mean, they help you, but you have to do what you have to do. So, I mean, like when I went to the Olympic Training Center, I went to college. You know, I went to the University of Colorado at Colorado Springs. And then I was also working part-time jobs here and there. And then afterwards, I started working full-time and doing judo full-time. So like I'd had super long days. I'd get up, I have morning practice, then go to work all day, and then go to night practice. And I mean, by the time I left the house at 5:30, and by the time I got back home at night, it was like 8:30 at night. And that's a long day, you know, but that's what we were used to. We didn't know anything different. So now seeing fighters who actually get to, you know, I actually feel like now, because I get to do the stunts, I almost have more time because, you know, I worked a commercial. Now I get like paid, you know, every time it plays or something. So I'm able to just train. You know, I also have, I mean, of course, I also have help from like my management team, like the Ballinger Group, my agent or / manager, Lloyd Pearson and whatnot, Alex and James Ballinger. I mean, they like, of course, help me out and whatnot, but like that, I never had that before. You know, we had to work for everything we did, like on the national team, you know, and at the Olympic Training Center. You have to work for everything you have. So to me, this is almost like way easier. It's almost like I have so much more time now.
But say, is that something you want to get into, like the movies and big roles? And
you know, I've never really thought about the big roles. I mean, right now, of course, I mean, I love stunts. I think they kind of just fit me. I know I had so many. I competed in gymnastics.
You're offered Entourage too, like a huge deal. Is that something?
Oh, I mean, I'm not gonna say I'd turn it down. Absolutely, I'd take it hands down. I mean, why would I not? I mean,
well, because the fighting aspect, because that would take away, you know, a good deal of your fighting or training.
Yeah, but I think if you know how to balance things out, you know how to balance things out. I mean, I was able to balance 15-hour days, 16-hour days for years. You know, I think that you know, I think Ronda did a great job. I think people are worried about it, but how about all those other times she won when she was doing movies and commercials and whatnot? You know, she lost one fight. You can't like think like there's so many other like try to say, oh, the movies, the commercials. She was doing movies and commercials and everything when she was winning too. You know what I mean? So just because she lost one fight, I mean, it happened. You know what I mean? It's done and over with. She'll come back and she'll be back on top, you know, and that's just...
Was it hard watching that fight for you?
Well, of course. I mean, I was, yes. That was, are you kidding me? Oh my gosh, I was heartbroken. That's my friend. At the end of the day, you know, I'm sitting there watching my friend get hurt. You know, you think, I didn't want, oh gosh, it killed me. I mean, I text Dana White right away. I was like, is she okay? Like, what's going on? Like, I was freaking out. Like,
Did
that's
he
my
text
friend.
You back?
He's like, I'm at the hospital. So I wanted to make sure that she was okay. I didn't win, lose, draw. I don't care. At the end of the day, whether Ronda ever did MMA or not, we're still going to be friends. You know what I mean? But to see your friend get hurt, I mean, it's horrible. Like, I mean, Ronda is a tough girl. That is a strong woman right there.
But some of the comments she made on Ellen, though, I think she took a lot of criticism for that. Said that she wanted to commit suicide. And
I think they took that way out of context too. I mean, yeah, I think she said it like she did, but I mean, anybody who is as hard on themselves as Ronda or like myself or anybody else, that wants to be the best, you know, they only strive for the best. I mean, when you lose, I mean, you take it hard, you take it to heart, and yeah, anything can cross your mind. You know what I mean? And but you know what? She didn't do anything. She came right back. She's fine. Like, she's great. Like, you know.
You think she'll be back in the wintertime like most people suspect?
I think she'll be back when she's ready. I don't know when she'll be back. You know, she's taking care of some stuff right now. So
Now, look, as far as, because you went from Glendale fighting to North Hollywood, and there, you know, her mom's come out with some things about not the gym. Is that part of the reason why you left Glendale Fight Club?
I mean, there were a lot of reasons. I mean, it's not like I necessarily left. Like, if Ronda needs help, I'll still go over there and help her if she needs help or something. At the end of the day, I was kind of working. I was kind of I was seeing what worked for me. You know, what fit for me, or what I found fit. And you know, I ended up I've been working with some WBC world champs, former WBC world champs in boxing, and some great, you know, kickboxers, and then the grapple. I mean, at the end of the day, nobody's gonna get better than highest in. I mean, it's because Gokar Chivichian's, I mean, grappling's outstanding.
Oh, Gokar. I mean, a lot of people don't know who Gokar is, but if someone understands that, like him and there was a forum about who would win between him and Hickson Gracie back in the day. I mean, they missed the whole, you know, this whole big MMA surge because, you know, they were kind of the pioneers. So people that don't know, Gokar, his grappling is known.
Yeah, absolutely. It's very well known in the world. And Ronda started there. And you know what? I really needed to get, because like for me, I was like, okay, well, I know judo, ground.
And so there was no drama involved. Like that's
no, everything's good. No, I mean,
yeah, because from what, you know, Dr. Anne Marie was saying, there's kind of some drama going on, and I didn't know if that was
at the gym or
right.
No. I mean, as far as for me, I mean, there was no drama with me. I mean, I've seen Edmund at Ronda's house. Still say hi. We hug. We kiss. You know, I talk to the other coaches. Everything's good. No, there's no drama at all. I just did what was best that I felt worked for me. And right now I have a great coaching staff that I love and great training partners. Clearly, you know, it's working out for me. I mean, I know Judo Newaza, which is like the groundwork, which is, you know, it's similar to jiu-jitsu, but it's not the same thing. But I needed to learn, you know, the leg locks and just the MMA groundwork. You know what I mean? It's not the same as judo. So that's pretty much for me.
So we're going to do something now as we close out where you can tap out if you don't want to answer the question, if you can't answer it. And
oh boy.
I think we had a couple of people tap out. Michael Bisping tapped out.
So I don't have to feel bad if
we
I
had
tap
actually,
out, huh?
Chris Van Heerden did not tap out. Well, did Chris Van Heerden? He's a pro boxer that was sparred McGregor. He was sitting right there, and I don't think he tapped out.
Oh man, you're putting the pressure. All right, let's hear it.
So we're gonna start out fairly kosher.
Oh boy, here we go. All right, let's hear it. Let's hear it. Come on.
What's your favorite color?
Black.
Favorite food?
Arroz con leche.
What is that?
It's I think
rice.
It's like rice milk, but it's just basically like sweet rice. I don't know. My mom makes it. It's my favorite. I don't know. Anyway, continue.
Batman or Superman?
Batman.
Name one person, a pro in your sport in MMA that you like a lot, that you admire, which is probably going to be easy for you on this one.
Actually, that's not.
One person that you really admire a lot
in MMA. It has to be in MMA.
Correct. It doesn't have to be in your division.
I mean, I admire Ronda for what she did. Absolutely.
So that's your favorite person, you would say, in MMA.
Of course, hands down.
All right, so it was easy. Now, one person that you dislike, you can't stand in MMA.
I mean, I'm pretty easygoing, but I would say I'm probably not a fan. Gosh darn it, I knew this was gonna. Watch me have to like fight somebody one day. No.
Don't tap out. Your Olympic level.
No, whatever. So just someone I can't stand, or like what? Like maybe I don't like their cockiness. Maybe I don't like.
You can't stand them. You dislike them. You may not even know them, or you may know them, but you just like, I do not like this person.
I don't know. I probably don't care for the champ too much.
For who?
Joanna.
Okay.
Yeah.
Young Jacek.
Yeah, she ignored me when I met her. I was like, yeah, I met her with Ronda. She was like, and I was like, hi, I'm Pauline. She's like, hi. And I was like, oh no, she didn't. And then like I even talked to her after that. Like and then for some reason I saw her like every weekend for some reason. And like I just know we have like a.
She blew you off.
Well, no, and then she asked me too. She was like about training with me one day or something like that, like with Ronda and over there and us. And I was like, yeah, but I don't know. I could just feel it. Like she knows we're in the same weight division, so I could like feel it. Like maybe there's not. I don't know.
So she was rude to you.
Oh yeah, when I met her, but I don't know if she even remembers. But I remember. I don't forget things.
But after that, was she still like when you said you saw her several times after that?
I would say that like you could just you just kind of feel that like I can't even say that either of us have been rude to each other. There's just like a feeling that I could tell. There's just like a little bit of like tension between us.
I feel like you have that same feeling to our producer, like Ray.
That is so not true.
That's why we need to demonstrate some moves.
No.
Also, all right, so Olympic medal, gold medal, or UFC champion, what would you rather have?
At what point in my life now, or
Just overall, I know Daniel Cormier says a gold medal, and he has the belt, would mean more to him than a UFC belt.
I think I'm gonna go with the UFC belt.
Really?
I am. I think I am more passionate about MMA than I ever was with judo.
If you could go back and talk to 10, 12-year-old, a young Pauline Macias, a young Peta, what advice would you give her?
Pick cheerleading. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. No. What would I tell myself as a young child?
Because you're, what, 27 now?
Yeah. I think I would tell myself that, life's going to throw things at you, and don't let it get to you.
3 years down the road, 5 years down the road, where do you see yourself?
Oh, 3 years down the road. I better be in the UFC.
What about a year? Well, okay, start 1 year down the road, a year from now.
I don't really know, because it's kind of hard to see. It really depends.
Where do you see you visualize?
I mean, for me, a year down the road, I hope I've really have found an understanding of the sport. And
are you in the UFC in a year? Are you Invicta champion? Are you what?
See, a year from now. The only thing I want for myself a year from now is to really understand the sport and be undefeated. Wherever that's at, that's where I want to be. Yeah.
And then 5 years down the road?
Yeah, I better have that belt. That is most definitely what I want, yeah.
And if not?
I'll keep working at it.
Also, a piece of advice you would give for everyone in general, a life piece of advice, like one sentence.
A life piece of advice. Keep working hard and good things will happen. That's from my dad's quote.
two last things we're kind of adding. Since there's a presidential election coming up, are you Team Trump or Team Hillary? Or Team Nobody?
I'm gonna go Team Nobody, because I'm not much on the political side. So if I don't know. I don't really take the time to research enough to say I would have a team. But yeah, we'll just go with that.
Now, Pauline Macias, last question. You have the power to solve one of these two things. You can either put an end to world hunger in the whole world, or put an end to homelessness around the world. Which one do you choose and why?
Because I think I would choose to end world hunger, because you can't die from homelessness, but you can die by starving to death. So.
Well, I think you could die from the cold, the weather.
Well, yeah, but that's not dying
elements.
From homelessness, though.
Well, from not having a place to live.
Well, yeah, but at the end of the day, if you don't have food, you will die. Being homeless, if you adapt or there are many people who are homeless and find ways to survive. I think that if you have no food, then you're starving and you will die.
I missed one. Flying or invisibility? What are you choosing?
Flying. I love heights.
Pauline Macias, it's been great having you on Tapout and Chill.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me. It's been great.
and now, if you can, we can set up some type of payment where we get some footage of you and Ray, our producer.
Oh my gosh, I'm not taking.
Some of those
I will take you out before I take Ray out. Because you're egging it on.
Some of those throws, I don't think the viewers will get a good idea of what it is unless we visually see it. Thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me. It's good to see you, man. Oh,
you have a hard hand.